Virginia is a beautiful state with mountains, beaches, and rich history, but let's be honest, not every city here is a great place to live. High crime, struggling economies, and poor infrastructure make some areas less desirable than others. So, how did we rank the 10 worst places to live in Virginia? We looked at crime rates, unemployment, poverty levels, education, and overall quality of life. Plus, we listened to what locals had to say. While Virginia is for lovers, you might not love living in these places. Let's dive in. Welcome to Fredericksburg, a charming historic town nestled between Richmond and Washington, D.C. Sounds like a great location, right? Well, not so fast. Fredericksburg has a few major problems that might make you think twice before packing your bags. First, crime rates are on the rise. While it's not the most dangerous city on this list, break-ins, theft, and assaults happen more often than you'd expect. Want to take a peaceful evening stroll? Maybe reconsider. Then there's the cost of living. Being stuck between two major metropolitan areas means sky-high home prices. The average home in Fredericksburg costs way more than the local salaries can handle. And traffic? Oh boy. If you ever dreamed of spending half your life stuck in I-95 traffic, congratulations, this is your place. Fredericksburg might have historical charm, but unless you're ready to fight for affordable housing and dodge petty crime, you might want to look elsewhere. Charlottesville, home to the University of Virginia, Thomas Jefferson's Monticello, and a whole lot of social tension. If you love history and academia, this might seem like the perfect place to live. But reality paints a different picture. For starters, the cost of living here is brutal. Housing prices have skyrocketed, and if you're not pulling in a six-figure salary, affording a decent place to live is a challenge. And while the city has a vibrant culture, it also has a history of protests and unrest. If you don't like being in the middle of political debates, you might want to steer clear. Crime isn't as bad as other places on this list, but it's creeping up. Burglaries and violent incidents have become more frequent, making some residents uneasy. Charlottesville might be great for students and professors, but for the average working-class resident, it's an overpriced headache. Farmville. The name itself sounds peaceful, right? A nice, quiet little town perfect for a slow-paced life. But here's the thing. Sometimes slow-paced just means boring and economically struggling. Farmville has very few job opportunities outside of Longwood University. If you're a student or faculty member, great. But if you're looking for a thriving job market, good luck. The economy here is stagnant, and the median household income is painfully low. And let's talk about crime. For a town of this size, the crime rate is shockingly high, especially for drug-related offenses and property crimes. Beyond that, there's just not much to do here. Unless you're into farming, antique shopping, or watching paint dry, you'll probably get bored fast. If you love a quiet, uneventful life, Farmville might work for you. But if you want opportunity and excitement, you won't find it here. Welcome to Franklin, a small city that once thrived on the timber and paper mill industries. But those days are long gone. Now, it's a town struggling to stay afloat. Franklin's economy has collapsed since its major industries shut down. With limited job opportunities, many residents are left working low-wage jobs or commuting long distances for work. The unemployment rate is higher than the state average, and poverty is a real issue here. And let's talk about crime. Despite its small-town feel, Franklin has a surprisingly high crime rate. Drug-related offenses and thefts are major concerns, and residents often feel uneasy walking around after dark. Beyond that, Franklin doesn't offer much in terms of entertainment or recreation. Unless you enjoy watching tumbleweeds roll through town, you might find life here pretty dull. Franklin had potential, but today, it's a town in decline. Roanoke is known for its beautiful mountain scenery, outdoor activities, and, well, a lot of crime. This city may be a dream destination for hikers and bikers, but living here? That's a whole different story. For starters, Roanoke's economy is stagnant. While it's not completely dead, good-paying jobs are hard to find and many residents struggle with low wages. The cost of living is lower than in Northern Virginia, but that's because people don't really want to move here. Then there's the crime. Roanoke's violent crime rate is nearly double the national average, and property crime is rampant. If you live here, you have a 1 in 21 chance of being a victim. Add in underfunded schools and infrastructure that's seen better days, and you've got a city that's better for a weekend visit than a permanent home. Emporia, where life moves slow. Maybe a little too slow. This tiny town located near the North Carolina border is best known for two things: speed traps and poverty. Yes, Emporia has one of the most notorious speed traps in Virginia. If you've ever driven through, chances are you got pulled over. But traffic tickets are the least of this town's problems. The real issue? A failing economy. Emporia has one of the highest unemployment rates in the state. Over 23% of residents are out of work. Those who do have jobs make well below the national average, with many struggling to get by. And despite its small size, crime is a major concern. The crime rate here is nearly double the state average, with property crimes and drug-related offenses being the biggest problems. Unless you enjoy paying speeding fines and struggling to find work, Emporia probably isn't for you. Norfolk is home to the world's largest naval base, a bustling waterfront, and one of the highest crime rates in Virginia. At first glance, Norfolk seems like a great place to live. It's got history, culture, and a strong military presence. But beneath the surface, this city has serious problems. Crime is out of control. Murder, robbery, and violent assaults happen at an alarming rate. Even some of the nicer areas aren't immune. Then there's the economy. While the naval base provides jobs, the cost of living is higher than the average salaries can support. The public school system? Not great. Traffic? Horrendous. And let's not forget the flooding. Every time a heavy storm rolls in, parts of the city turn into a water park, but not the fun kind. Norfolk is a great place to visit, but unless you enjoy high crime and traffic nightmares, you might want to live elsewhere. If you thought Norfolk had problems, meet its even more dangerous neighbor, Portsmouth. Portsmouth is one of the most dangerous cities in Virginia. The violent crime rate is 3 times the state average, making this a place where you don't want to walk alone at night. Gangs, drug activity, and armed robberies are all part of daily life here, but crime isn't the only problem. The city's economy has been struggling for years with high unemployment and low wages. Schools are underfunded, and many residents feel trapped in a cycle of poverty. And if you think you can escape the problems by moving to a better neighborhood, good luck. Even the so-called safe areas of Portsmouth aren't that safe. If you want to live in a city where the police sirens never stop and locking your doors is mandatory, Portsmouth might be for you. Otherwise, stay far away. Stay far. Petersburg is a city in decline, and it has been for decades. Once a thriving industrial hub, Petersburg has fallen on hard times. The economy here is one of the worst in Virginia, with nearly 12% unemployment and poverty levels through the roof. If you need a job, you'll likely have to commute to Richmond, because Petersburg isn't offering much. Crime is another huge issue. Break-ins, robberies, and violent crime are all too common. Many neighborhoods are full of abandoned houses and neglected buildings, making parts of the city feel like something out of a post-apocalyptic movie. Schools? Among the worst in the state. Infrastructure? Falling apart. The city was even close to going bankrupt a few years ago. Petersburg's historic charm is undeniable, but unless you enjoy living in a ghost town with high crime and no opportunities, you might want to look elsewhere. And finally, the worst place to live in Virginia, Newport News, or as some locals call it, bad news. With a population of nearly 180,000, Newport News is one of the largest cities in Virginia, but bigger doesn't mean better. This place has some of the highest crime rates in the state, especially when it comes to violent crime, gang activity, and drug-related offenses. People here report hearing gunshots almost every night. And the economy? Not great. While Newport News is home to a major shipbuilding industry, many residents struggle with low wages and a high cost of living. The public school system is underfunded, and the city's infrastructure is falling apart. Then there's the traffic, congested, frustrating, and full of potholes. If you're looking for a city where you can fight crime, bad roads, and underwhelming job prospects all at once, Newport News is perfect. Otherwise, stay far away. Virginia has a lot to offer, but let's be real. Not every place is paradise. High crime, economic struggles, and poor infrastructure make these cities tough places to live. But at the end of the day, every community has good people working to make things better. Virginia is a state with deep history, strong roots, and resilient communities. Instead of division, let's work toward building safer, better places for everyone. Because after all, Virginia is for lovers.